I have a lot to get through tonight. We're going to be talking about the possibility of 200 million being spent, because that's a number that's been mentioned today by FSG in the summer. Marty said textbook FSG lies, in my opinion. Well, you know what, mate? Look, let me just put it this way. I've set up a folder on my computer of everything that's been written by journalists and everything that's been spoken about, and I'm keeping tab. And when the summer comes around, we're going to hold everybody to account for what they said. And if the transfers come in, hey, we're all happy and there's nothing to complain about. But if they don't and we're being hoodwinked, well, then we've got a different conversation, don't we? Who's saying it though? Journo means nothing. Well, as I said, mate, everything that I talk about, I give you the sources of. I tell you who wrote it. I'm not a journalist, you know, I'm not out here writing articles or claiming to have sources inside the club, but I am keeping track of what everybody is saying, and we'll go through it. Fraz Fletcher, and this post on the Anfield Buzz, said FSG are preparing for their biggest summer transfer window ever. Liverpool are working on new deals with Trent, Salah and Virgil, and also FSG are expecting to spend at least £200 million, with Isak and Huijsen being the targets. Now, look, I promise you one thing, my friends. If Liverpool go out and spend £200 million this summer, and I'm talking net here, by the way, not let's bring in 150 million and spend 200. I'm talking net. It is important we get the positions right, and that's important as well, and I'm not against bringing in some money from player sales, but I want to see proper investment here. And I can promise you, if FSG and Liverpool go out there this summer and drop that type of cash, no more complaints from me about transfer spends for a couple of windows anyway, because that's all I've ever wanted as a fan, is to see the ambition and these players to be brought in. But it has to be caveated, of course, with the contract extensions. Now, speaking about the contract extensions, really quickly, I was watching something, and this is a quote from one of the a sports lawyer, who was on the what's that show called again? The Overlap, the fan debate, I think it's called. He was speaking about the situation at Liverpool Football Club with the contract extensions for Virgil and Mo and Trent. And this is what he had to say, and I wanted your thoughts on it. It isn't specifically about any single one of our players, but he said there's a lot of data research suggesting players looking to renew their deals actually overperform in the season of the renewal and massively underperform in the couple of seasons after that renewal. I found this a very interesting piece because, you know, he obviously has the research to back it up. You know, he's a very decorated lawyer and been involved in lots of high profile dealings. And it kind of got me thinking about it. Now look, you can pick out some obvious examples of your Aubameyangs, your Ozils and whatnot. But it is interesting, you know, the idea of maybe players knowing they're playing for their futures at a club, going out and performing to this level, and then after contract extensions, a marked fall off for the next couple of seasons. And I guess it's research like that that maybe is the reason why Hughes and Edwards and the club are debating the numbers or length of deals around Mohamed Salah and Virgil van Dijk. So yeah, I wanted to get your thoughts on that because I thought it was an interesting little take. Obviously, I don't want our boys to leave, but it certainly makes for interesting thinking anyway. Amash said Salah wants those records, incentive enough for him. I agree with that, my friend. I do agree with that. Mohamed Salah is playing for legacy at this point. I absolutely agree with you on that one. And if you look at the numbers he's putting up this season, yes, you can say maybe he's playing for a contract, all well and good. But you are also right in that he's playing for legacy. And he's closing in and moving up those goal scoring charts and rewriting the history book. So I'm with you on that one, bro. I'm with you on that one. Then there's the Virgil stuff. And somebody, Mohamed, in our Discord group asked me a question and said, Craig, what if Liverpool were to let all the lads go and were to go out and spend lots of money in the summer? Do you think that you'd be happy with that? And I sat back and I thought about it for a little bit, and I'm interested to know what you think about this. But for me, of the three players who are due for renewal, I can live with the idea of Trent going because I think we have a good understudy and the situation is what it is. So I've kind of expected that there might be an opportunity if Trent goes. But when it comes to Mohamed Salah and Virgil van Dijk, I think if I had to choose just one player to stay at the club, I think the one that will give us the biggest impact will be Virgil to stay. So for me, the priority would be Virgil, Mo, Trent. It just got me thinking when he asked it to me, because I've never really thought about it outside of Trent over here and the two lads over here. And these ones the club can control. This one, maybe not. But I want to get your thoughts on that. Because to me, Virgil van Dijk is irreplaceable anywhere in the world. You can talk about Mohamed Salah being irreplaceable and you'd be right. But you can get goals from elsewhere, I think, up top. It would still be horrendous if he leaves, and I absolutely want him to stay. But I don't think you can replace Virgil. I don't think that's possible. You know, to go out there and bring in a centre-back who can lead that defence like Virgil does, I think there isn't anybody that I've seen that I'd be comfortable with Liverpool allowing Virgil to move on to bring in. So that's my thoughts on the tiers of how I'd feel about each player and the contract renewals. Nick said the fall off after new deals has as much to do with personality as mentality as it does age. Don't have to worry about the former with Mo and Virgil. And I agree, as I agreed with the gentleman earlier on as well. I've no doubts that Mo would switch off after if he signed a new deal. None. I've no concerns about that whatsoever with Mo, for the very reasons that our friend a moment ago mentioned, playing for legacy. James Pearce of The Athletic said something that I think is common sense and I think we'd probably mostly agree with. James Pearce said, I would be really surprised if Liverpool went into next season with the same options in terms of a number 9 as they have this season. I think that's probably fair. I would certainly expect some change in the centre-forward department, although I'm not sure I'd expect Diogo Jota to be moved on as well. I certainly have thought process that Darwin Núñez is going. Stevie Kirkham said, as long as the journalists say what John wants them to, they keep their access and John gives them a pat in the head. So, look, I don't think I've ever said, even though journalists have accused me of saying this, I don't think you, and if I have said this once or twice and I'm wrong on this, I will hold my hands up, but I don't ever remember saying that any of them are on the payroll with FSG. I said that they don't want to lose their access. I said that they're cowardly, but I've never said they're on the payroll. But my problem is, right, these journalists, you see them on social media and they'll have a pop at any of the aggregator accounts that cover Liverpool Football Club, or they'll have a pop of fans and they'll call people bad outlets and they'll say that they're terrible at what they do and blah, 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 blah. But as soon as somebody has a pop back, which I have done, they can't handle it. Heads go. All of a sudden, they're very insulted and they have to stand their ground. The simple thing is just be better at your jobs. It's that easy. Just be better at your jobs and accept what comes your way when people feel that you're not doing your job well enough and you're not doing your job honestly